Today's near-death experience was sent into our email by Brett Thompson. Brett has a very interesting NDE in which his life review also focuses on past lives he has led. Brett writes, "Beyond death, I have been subscribed to your channel since almost about the time that you started posting these experiences. I have my own NDE I would like a chance to share if you feel it is interesting enough for your channel. My near-death experience began in 2017 as I was driving home from work. I had just finished pulling a double shift at the shipyard. My job was gate security, which consisted mainly of checking identification badges of all persons coming and going. Ever since the September 11th attacks, this job was a large priority for the shipyards. My life was pretty simple, really. I woke each day, went to work, came home after where I might watch a movie or play with my dog in the backyard. I attended no church of any religion quite, simply because I did not believe in anything. I had been forced to attend church growing up, and now, as an adult, this was my way of thumbing my nose at every pastor that had ever told me to believe something simply because an old book told me it was true. I could use science and common sense to pick apart much of the Bible by the time I was 15. So on this day, in 2017, while driving home, I absolutely believed death was a finite ending. If you died, you simply ceased to exist. I was so wrong. I was also one of those people that chose to text and drive. Yeah, I know it's stupid as well as illegal in most states, however, I did not care. The state wasn't paying my cell phone bill, so I would use it when and how I liked. I was so defiant during this time period. While on my way home that day, I received a text, and when I reached for my cell to open and read it, I dropped the cell. It ended up under my feet in the floorboard. Before I could even think, I reached for my phone. I could not have had my eyes off the road for more than a second or two when the wreck happened. Witnesses would later state that I crossed the yellow line and drove straight into incoming traffic before hitting a Volvo head-on. The impact was enough that I was pinned into the vehicle, still bent over reaching for my phone. I remember a lot of pain and feeling something wet on my head, face, and neck. I think I heard the sirens before everything around me turned black. At no point did I feel myself leave my body, and I do not recall ever hovering above it. Things just turned black. Think of the darkest room you have ever entered, and then magnify that darkness by 10. I knew I was dying and things were going exactly how I always thought they would. My brain and body was shutting down for the last time. I no longer felt pain, but instead felt an overwhelming sense of total peace. I was dying, and I was good with it. Then a light appeared. First it seemed tiny and very far away, but it was rapidly approaching me. Or I was approaching it. The reason I say this is because I swear I began to feel wind around me as if I were the one moving, although I cannot be sure. As I arrived at this light, or it arrived at me, I started feeling welcomed with an intense feeling of pure love. There is no other way to describe it. This light, which had now grown to enormous proportions, radiated a love greater than I had ever known. The light communicated with me telepathically that I would now be given my life review. This next part is hard to talk about because I had to watch a screen on which every second of my life was replayed. The light would often stop on a scene from my life, where I would be forced to see and feel how choices I had made at that moment affected others, both present at the time and others not present, through a ripple effect. I would then be questioned on what other choices I could have made. I was shown many times in which my choices caused both mental and sometimes physical pain in others around me. What's more, I had to experience the moment through the souls of those I had affected. I had to feel their pain. It seemed the light was specifically targeting times in my life when I was simply not at my best. I was in tears by the time my life review ended. Next came an information download of sorts. All knowledge became accessible to me. I only had to think a question and the answer was immediately known. At first I asked the obvious questions such as, was the light God? It wasn't. And when would the world end? I was told that no man knows or can know. I thought about my life review before asking my next question, and I just decided to lay all the cards on the table. Am I going to hell? I asked. The answer surprised me. The light stated, your path is not complete. You will either return to Earth to finish your path, or you may choose to begin a new life in your path for knowledge. Do you mean reincarnation? I questioned. It has been called that by many. Your path will continue in one life or another until you learn what you defined as your goal at the start. It is your choice to either go back or start anew. The concept of multiple lives confused me. Back on Earth, I was the person who believed life ceased at death, and here I was being told I can reincarnate. Have I lived other lives? I asked the light. Yes. Would you like to see some of them? Please, I answered. With that, 3 screens appeared, and I was able to observe 3 other lives I had led. In one, I had been a seamstress making dresses for an upscale boutique in a large European city and had died after catching the flu. In another, I had been a soldier in the Chinese military who was beaten to death for falling asleep on my post. I had been a farmer in the States and had died of old age after raising a large family. During these past life screenings, I was able to rewind and fast forward and review specifics of these lives while their memories were simultaneously downloaded into my conscious. I am not sure how long I viewed these past lives because time simply did not exist on the other side. The light did tell me I would forget most of the details when I returned to Earth, and I have. Finally, the light asked me what I would like to do, to which I replied, "What if I want to stay here?" I was then told that I must complete my goal in order to move on. Evidently, I had signed a contract with a higher power that, for the sake of argument, we will call God. A soul must complete the goals they set for themselves in order to ascend to whatever the next level is, perhaps heaven. I decided to return to this life and try to repair my belief system, and made myself a promise that after my life review, I will be more mindful of how I treat others, and I will weigh every decision before making it. Once my decision was made to return, I was instantly back in my body and in immense pain again. Beyond death, this is the point where most near-death experiences begin to get boring, so I will save your viewers that trouble. Nothing noteworthy happened during my recovery. I did not return with psychic or healing abilities. I do believe in life after death now, as well as reincarnation, because I know the truth. Keep putting out great videos, and I will keep watching them. Brett. Thank you, Brett, for allowing my viewers a glimpse into your near-death experience.